Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV. It is not a Gills in the Blood Chats 2 today, but we are going back to our series, My Gills With. And as you can see, I'm joined on Skype by Owen Stanley. You can find him on Twitter, and you'll also hear his dulcet tones on the Gills Fancast. How you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, not bad. Still locked in, as we all know. Hopefully not for much longer, but it is what it is at the minute. Hopefully people stick to the guidelines and we get out of this mess sooner rather than later.
That's it, yeah, exactly. It's not been fun at all, has it? And like you say, you can't go out. If you do go out, you have to queue up to go and buy a loaf of bread and stuff like that. It's pretty weird, but it is what it is, like you're saying. We've got to abide by these rules, and like you mentioned, hopefully then it will shift on and disappear quicker than we thought, or don't want it to be here for, so to speak, and then we can start thinking about maybe going back to a football ground in a few months. But right, should we crack straight on? It'd be nice to talk about some football.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Right, we'll go right back to the beginning then. And first question, as always with this series, is how long have you been supporting the Gills?
I worked this out earlier. I think my first, there's a weird one actually, because when I was younger, I was actually more into rugby than I was football.
Right, okay.
I'm deeply ashamed of now, but I used to always, I don't know, I had this thing for rugby. I don't know what it was. I used to play it a lot, but then I started discovering football, and then my dad's obviously, he's an Everton fan actually, my dad, but he's been living it for years, so he's like, just as you know, naturally you just go to the team and whatever, and he started doing that, and then I think my first few games were in 2006, back into 2005 to 6 season.
Right.
I didn't get a season ticket until the following season, 6-7.
Okay.
Would be about 14 years now, yeah. I remember my first game, I think we 14 years ago, 2006. I think it was Tranmere at home. We drew 1-1, I think.
Remember who scored?
I want to say Darren Byfield.
He'd been there about that time, to be fair, yeah, and we weren't very good, and he probably scored most of our goals during that period. So who was? I'm trying to think who the manager was. And so that was 6-7, was it? Or 5-6, you said. So been the first season back in League One, wouldn't it? After relegation from the Championship.
It should have been Jepson.
He was there for half of that season, wasn't he? Yeah, I think at least. Cool. Yeah, not a fun time to start, I'd imagine.
Nah. Well, but I was still relatively young, so I didn't really understand the concept of relegation, to be fair, or whatever.
It was just going to football, I suppose, and having something to watch.
Going and trying something new, seeing what it's about, and obviously 14 years down the line, and I'm still putting myself through trauma of it, so I must have done something right at the time. Yeah,
it's probably been more trauma than joy, I'd imagine, for you. We'll probably get on to one specifically good season a little later on, but yeah, it's probably not been great, and we've spent most of our time we spent all of our time in the bottom two divisions then since you've been going.
Yeah, well, it'd be boring if we just
kept winning all the time, yeah. So obviously that's your first game. You said at the time you was too young to really understand. What's your first significant Gills memory then, like one that really stands out?
It's a weird one. It's not like something to look back and think, wow, I remember that. It's sort of like one of those, like the first time I remembered the game, and I think we beat Brighton 1-0. I think Delroy Facey scored the goal. Yeah. And I think, ironically, the Tranmere game I was talking about, I think Delroy Facey was playing for them at the time.
Right.
I think it was down the road. I think, Delroy scored against Brighton, and Brighton had Baz Savage up front, who obviously former Gills, of course. I think.
Didn't he score like one goal in about 30 games for us, and then he scored on his first game for Brighton against us or something, didn't he?
Something like that. I remember Delroy Facey is someone I've always had memory. He's always come back to score against us. I think he did it. I think he scored Notts County a few years later or something like that.
I think he did, yeah.
I think if Ian-Orr was manager at the time, he might have been a caretaker, but I think he was.
He did have a short spell, didn't he? Yeah, that might have been after Jepson went.
Yeah, I don't think it was a permanent thing. I think it was one of those like caretaker.
Yeah, he did like 2 or 3 games, didn't he? Yeah.
Remember we beat them. I think my dad just told me they were one of the better sides because the players they had. I can't remember off the top of my head where they were in the league at that point. But yeah, I remember I think there's a ball played down left hand side and across it. I think Tracy swiveled on, turned and put it back in the net, and I always remember that as like the first concrete memory, if you like. Not because he was specifically a great player, but it's just one of them that sticks to your head for some reason.
Fair enough. No, like you say, it's not always like big moments like super goals or great results, is it? It's just something that my first, like if you go thinking of mine, was my first game was '89. I went with my dad, and that was when the away fans were still caged in a corner, which is where the players come out now. And then there was a gap to like the old main stand, and the ambulance used to come in through there if anyone got injured. But first real memory was sort of sitting on the old dugouts in the Gordon Road stand, because you used to have to come out from the old main stand as players, and then the dugouts were across the other side of the pitch. And you used to sit on top of them, like Bella, listening to like Tony Pulis and that when he was there. And just remember Richard Green hitting big diagonals to, well, usually the opposing team centre half, because we weren't very good at the time. But that was before, that was just before Pulis came in and Scallion started buying everyone that was half decent and getting us promoted. Yeah, but so it's not always good memories, the first one, but they're the things that stick, like you say. Let's get on to stuff that is sort of more memorable for, you know, technical reasons or whatever. What's the best ever goal you've seen from a Gillingham player live?
There's probably better goals than this, but I always, one that always sticks out is that Cody McDonald over red kick against Walsall. I think it was a 2-2 draw.
He was outside the box, wasn't he? I think just inside.
I think there's a cross. It reminds me a bit of Gareth Bales against Liverpool. I think the cross got a bit of a deflection on it. That's like adjust his body and swivel it, get it, and it's gone straight in the top corner. I think 2013, 14, I want to say, year after promotion.
Yeah, I think it might have been the first season back in League One, yeah.
I think we drew 2-2 with Walsall on the day, but that's something that always sticks out. I don't know. Well, then, like, you knew Cody from his time with the boys, always someone who can pull something like that out. I remember him scoring a bicey, I think it was against Torquay. I think the season he came on loan for the first time. I think we fluffed a free kick at injury time and ended up drawing 1-1, but yeah. It's sort of set like typical, like always they move. If he's having a poor game, he can always put a rabbit out of the app. Sort of what Cody.
Yeah, he was very, very good, wasn't he? And
I always reminded of ones I forget. Like, I think Gills Twitter put one up. I think Curtis Weston volley at home to Shrewsbury.
Yeah, there's been some good ones, and that Jack Payne one as well yesterday. Yeah. That was an absolute banger, to be fair.
There's always
what do you make of that Michael Flynn free kick? I thought it was awful. I don't know how that got in the 4.
Yeah, it bounced like 3 times, didn't it?
And the keeper fell over it as well.
Even that, I don't know if they included it in the video, but like Charlie Daniels one against Grimsby. I think someone touched it off to him and he curled it straight in the top corner in that game.
Yeah, I was talking to someone on Twitter and I said the one about Cody McDonald as well. He won against Shrewsbury the season when we finished 9th. He come back to the back end. I think Dacky rolled it to him and he smashed one in for about 35 yards. Much better. There was plenty that were loads better than that Michael Flynn one. I like Michael Flynn, but that was awful. I don't know how that got selected. But, you know, we're not in charge of the Twitter account, are we? So you went for Cody McDonald. In terms of 90 minutes then, what's the best ever Gills game you've seen live?
Best ever game? I think there's a lot of, I think it's easy to say like the error for 5-4 or the 4-4 against Aldershot, but I think in terms of a complete performance, I'd probably say the 4-0 win over Sheffield United. Start of that full season under Justin.
I missed that. Weren't there. I was still working in the pub and I couldn't get out of it because we hosted a beer festival first weekend of the season every year. So I was always praying for an away day the first game of the season.
I think that performance had everything you could want from it, really. I think, I remember his thoughts on my head. I think Oshel had got one. I think who scored the first one? I want to say
there were 2. Was it Norris?
Might have been Norris, yeah, because we scored 2 really early, didn't we? And
yeah, both really scrappy, like on the goal line. And then I think John Egan scored a header, didn't he, to put it to bed in the second half, and then Dacky smashed one in from the byline, pretty much.
Yeah, we all
I missed it all. I remember going to because I was at work and I had to run across to the garage across the road because we were running out of ice and all sorts because it was just bedlam. And checked Twitter and it was like 20 minutes gone to 2-0. I was like, nah, Twitter's broken. Looked again at full time. I was like that, hitting my phone. I was like, nah, phone's not working. Checked Sky Sports at 4-0. Brilliant. What a day to miss.
Yeah, I think we all thought John scored that goal. I think he missed it. He actually missed his header.
I think it's an own goal, wasn't it? But
yeah.
The defender, like John Egan scored, yeah.
The defenders assumed he's going to ready it, and then by the time he's realised he's missed it, he can't move his body, just hits him on the noggin and goes in.
And can you remember the front 2 that started that day?
Well, now you've said Norris, I'm going to put him in there.
I don't think it was actually. I think I've got that wrong.
Right. Front 2.
I think it might have been Rory Donnelly and Ben Williamson.
I remember Williamson was there, but I can't help thinking he come on as a sub.
I know because Josh Wright come on as a sub at half time because Aaron Morris got injured again.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of it in my head, like watching the replay of it in the head. Like I remember seeing Williamson celebrating the first goal.
Yeah. And also Davey going absolutely mental like he'd won the World Cup because it was like his first professional game. Well, it's because he was the best player in the world as well. he was very good for 20 minutes against Bury when he scored goal of the season. We'll leave it there. Right, that's live game. Let's try and talk about a full 9 months then. I think I know your answer, obviously just basing it on your age. Best full season watching the Gills.
Yeah, I wish I could have said 2015-16 if it had turned out differently. I think that year, near the end.
For 7 months, we thought it might have been the one, didn't we?
I think if we had carried that on, that would have epitomised 2012-13, not just because it's a higher league, but because the standard was much better. But yeah, I think the title winning season is going to be one that we struggled to replicate for a while. I think, again, it's one of them teams that sort of had everything. We were incredible for the vast majority of the season. We were rolling teams over with ease.
We started really well, didn't we? Like we did under Justin as well. We started really well, and got ourselves a lead at the top of the table. But we did fall over the line a little bit, to be fair, didn't we? At the end, it was a lot of draws, but whereas under Justin we kept losing games, I think, didn't we? But yeah, it was a really good side, proper team.
Well, I think when you say that about we ended it a bit poorly was probably what aided the next season not being as exciting or as hopeful as we wanted it to be. Because I think we carried on the form from the season before, which when you're champions, I think the most I do carry on your championship form. Sadly, we ended that season not really in championship form, but because we'd done enough beforehand, we were allowed, in a sense, to stumble ourselves over the line, and rather than
we built up enough of a gap, hadn't we, to start with, and every time that a team was near us, like Port Vale, Rotherham, we tended to get good results against them, which helped us. Out of curiosity, because you boys have just interviewed Martin Allen, I was just curious on there, because when I spoke to Nelson a few weeks ago, he said that the problems came because Martin changed the system. It changed the way we played. It looked like it's Nelson seemed to think that we tried to play too much football rather than carrying on what we was doing in League Two, which was being direct and robust and beating teams up, so to speak. But did Martin allude to anything? I've still had a chance to listen to it yet with kids running around, but did Martin allude to anything in there as to why it didn't start so well the following season? Or
you're going to have to listen to it.
I will listen to it, fair enough, not a problem at all.
I made a point that I felt sort of similar to what Nelson said, actually. I said we sort of went away from what got us to where we were.
That's it, yeah.
I was thinking about teams like Rotherham. I didn't want to call us a long team, but it was effective for them. And obviously, Big Super Steve got them promoted as it is.
Yeah, they went straight up again, didn't they?
And he said more. His answer was more on the side of he said he got rid of some players that he shouldn't have done. He bought players that he shouldn't have done. He didn't name names for obvious reasons because he doesn't want to chuck people in.
No, of course you wouldn't expect him to either.
But if it was just me assuming who he's on about, I think he would have liked to have kept Dion Burton for another year. I think he probably do.
Yeah, even if he didn't play loads of games, I'd imagine he'd have been decent in the dressing room and on the training pitch, wouldn't he?
In terms of players who come in, I think one that's about some. I think Linganzi was his name. We signed from Accrington, who was complete injury.
He looked like he had all the ability in the world, but yeah, he was spending more time on the treatment table, unfortunately, didn't he?
Yeah, when he said that, it actually put me on the spot. I couldn't think of many players who actually signed that season at the top of my head. I know Bayo and Cody signed, but they were starters, so they weren't part of that problem.
Yeah, Nels was still in goal, wasn't he? I'm trying to think, because Leggy came in the January of the season. We won the league, didn't he? Did we sign any new fullbacks? Don't think we did. It was Fish and Martin predominantly again, wasn't it?
Well, Fish got a game, didn't he? So we must
Fish was injured badly. So did we get someone in on loan or replace him? Hoyt was the season after, wasn't he?
Yeah. I remember that was the season Eston Tyler started coming through, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the season he scored the goal against Coventry. That was towards the end of the season. But yeah, he'd started getting games. Dacky was getting more minutes, I think, because I think Dacky scored the goal that sealed us staying up at home to Tranmere at the end of that 13-14 season. But back to the 2012-13 one. And I asked the players this as well. At what point did you start thinking, yeah, we're on for an absolute, this could be a special season here, watching us thinking we could end up champions rather than just, challenging for the playoffs or whatever?
It's funny, they didn't really like to answer that when I asked them that. I was like, we never pinpoint a game, we just keep going, game by game, game by game.
Nell said to me that it was as soon as he joined.
Yeah, he said to me that he knew they were going to get promoted, but he couldn't put it down to an exact game. I was like,
he said it was, when they come in and he had that friendly at Dagenham, literally 2 days after signing his contract. He said, I knew we had a great chance.
What games are I think? I think Plymouth at home when we won 2-0 or 2-1. That was one that stood out. I think Antonio German scored, and then he went round the keeper and somehow it post.
Oh, you know stuff special's happening if Antonio German scored.
But yeah, he went round the keeper and did like the easiest bit, the hard bit, and then hit the post and like right in front of it. And then thankfully Whelpdale was there to finish it up. But I think that game was in, I think it was like late January, early February or something like that. I think we just come off the back
of... He coming in the January as well, didn't he, I think?
Yeah,
German. Coming at the same time as Leggy.
Yeah, I think we just come off the back of a draw at Aldershot. And we were in that game, and that would have been the first time we'd lost back-to-back games all season. If I think Leg equalised that game. If he hadn't done that, we would have lost 2 in a row for the first game of the season. We were sort of...
Yeah, that was one thing we didn't do all campaign, did we? We never lost back-to-back games, I don't think.
It seemed like we were having a bit of a wobble. And then we obviously got ourselves... The mentality was there to get ourselves back on track. I think Plymouth at the time as well. Can't recall exactly, but I think that game was one of them where, you know, the sign of any good champion team is that you can win games when you're not playing well. I think
definitely. That's what I said, because we was like the Justin team. Unfortunately, when we stopped playing well, we started losing a lot of games. Whereas under Alan, it seemed, and I know again we have to be careful because it was different levels, and League One was a lot stronger than League Two at the time. But I think under Justin, whereas we was losing too many, under Mad Dog, we kept managing to dig out draws at least, even if we weren't playing well, didn't we?
Well, yeah, it's all about when, because I think it's almost impossible. I know you look at Liverpool now; they've only lost one game, but I think to be top for so long in the season, I think it's almost impossible not to have a slight blip at some point.
You must subconsciously become a little bit complacent at some periods, just because of the fact that you're doing so well.
I think you need to know if it's coming. You need to know how to manage it, and you need to make sure that you've got a strong enough head on your shoulders that you can deal with it when it comes and turn it around. Because if you...
That's it, get yourselves back out of it sharpish.
Maybe that season under Justin, we didn't quite have the mental capacity through it, and that's sort of why we floundered. Whereas in this team we're talking about now, we had leaders all over the pitch where like they would have been through it before, and they know how to get yourself out of it. And if you don't have that leadership and that mental capacity, it's a lot easier for you to just take one bad defeat and let it define your season in a sense. But I think when we go through the team, you know, like Nelson obviously had the playoffs with Brentford twice. Barrett obviously won 2 promotions at Southend. Burton's done it here, there, and everywhere. Liam promotions.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot more experience, I think, and know-how in that squad than in the Justin squad. There was a lot of kids in that Justin. Even the ones that were experienced were still young. Like John Egan was our captain, but he was still a kid at the time, really, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Trying to think who would have been the experienced pros in that team, because Cody was injured most of the season.
Yeah.
So it'd have been Nelson, maybe Doug Loft, and that would have been about it. The rest would, you'd probably say, sort of 26 and under, wouldn't we? Who did we have in that team? Jackson had only stepped up from League Two.
Yeah.
Garmston and Dickinson were both young. Egan and Amar. Then Osalaja came in on loan. It weren't till Egan got injured, was it, when we bought in our labs, that we had any sort of experience at centre half. And even in the middle of the park, they was all young. Dacky, Morris,
and Tyler,
Jake, Jordan Elton. And then, of course, we got Dacky and Egan got injured at the same time, and that pretty much killed it for us, didn't it?
Yeah, I've sort of the idea maybe is that with a team that's youthful, you have a good chance of starting the season well, but when it goes into crunch time, if you've got it, I'm sure you see it through. And I think we didn't that year, but
we didn't, unfortunately, no. And results probably back that up, as sad as it is, but you can't change it now, can you? But it's been a lot worse since. Anyway, move on from favourite Gills season. Obviously, I said I thought it'd be that one for obvious reasons, but I'm trying to think how many of these you've had. So, greatest Gills manager, then it's going to be that season again, surely, isn't it?
Well, Steve Evans, obviously.
Well, it could be if we ever get playing it. And actually a chance to achieve something. But it's got to be Mad Dog for you, surely, hasn't it?
Yeah, so I think especially talking to him since now, it sort of gave you all that nostalgia of how good it actually was and the way he talks about it. Like, you can tell by his voice how much it meant to him. I think he made a believer out of people when he stamped authority from day one. I think you just knew there was something about him which beforehand you might not have considered it to be that way, because it obviously was more well known for being a manager you want if you're down at the bottom, where in comparison to if you're a team wanting to fight at the top.
Yeah.
Like we were fighting relegation a couple of seasons before, you think he's get him in straight away, but I think the appointment made was a bit strange at the time because he'd been keeping things up. Is that really is he experienced enough to get teams up? Because obviously he goes to Brentford, didn't quite manage it. He's lost a few playoffs with Dons, but it worked. I think he created such a togetherness in that team and such a responsiveness where everything he said, players took on board straight away. And I think he had that very rare nowadays. We see it now with Evans, but it was not to the same extent as it was with Adam, obviously, because he's had a lot longer. But the relationship between fans and manager is the most important job, I think. All that comes with results. That season, all we did was get results. So I think he'd go down as my favourite. Evans has potential to be one of my favourites. Give it a year or so, depending on where we can actually start again, of course, and what sort of position.
That's it. Yeah, this season could be next season or next season. I know it's just so frustrating to keep waiting and waiting. And like with all of it, if we knew when it was all going to stop and we could all get back to normal, it'd be all right. But it's just the not knowing, isn't it? I think, but.
I know he has doubters, but I think he does have the club's best interests at heart, and
I was one.
Yeah. Well,
I'm happy to admit that now, and I'm happy to admit that I got it wrong because I've been converted, so I've been converted.
I've always been on the front carriage of the Evans Express. I think he give him a bit more time. Because I think he knows like how big a fan we have, even if it's not. We all strive towards the same thing, and he's got that relationship with the fans. The little things like coming over, doing the fist pumps or whatever it is after a game, he does resonate with us, and that's something that's really important. Also, obviously, want to give a mention to Justin. He made a believer out of me for 3/4 of that season. Obviously,
definitely.
As we already touched on, it was horrible how it ended. I remember being in the pub with my dad watching the Wigan game because I think it was on Sky, and things will be going really well. Dominic and Rory got the goals, didn't they? And then
2-0 up, we were cruising, weren't we? Absolutely cruising.
It's like three errors.
Nels made a rare mistake, didn't he? I think, and it got him back in it.
Yeah, first goals, I balled to the back post.
I think the first one was the one where it went through Nels.
Nah, the second one.
Was that the second one?
Yeah, Will Grigg scored the first one because I think there's a ball to the back post. I think Garmson's not seen. I don't know who's jumped behind him. I don't think he's seen him coming, and the guy just leapt over him, put it on the plate for Grigg, who smashed it past Wilson. Then Max Power has that shot from about 30, 25 yards, something like that, and Nelson just can't keep hold of it. And then obviously they scored the winner in injury time, didn't they? So which always seemed like, although the clock kept going down, and you start to think like it's horrible how we've thrown this away, but a point at the end of the world.
Yeah, Bozzy still adamant that if we'd beaten them that night, we'd have won the title.
I think so, yeah.
But that's the funny thing with momentum, isn't it? Unfortunately.
I've spoken to some players about that game. Like, some have agreed that it was a turning point, some haven't. But for me as a fan, I know it's obviously different being a player, but I think given our performances after that game, like, I think our following game, or a couple of games after Doncaster, 2-0 up and through that way.
Lost at Oldham after taking the lead, I think, as well, yeah.
And the confidence is drowned. I think the fact that we didn't even make the playoffs is incredible, really, that season.
Well, it says everything, doesn't it? That ninth was the lowest position we occupied all season, and that was on the final day. And it had to be at home to Millwall as well, didn't it? So, but it is what it is. But moving away from managers, and we've gone off on a little bit of a tangent, which I enjoy to do anyway. Maybe not best player technically or your favourite ever player, but Gills cult hero in the times you've been watching us.
Oh, I had about, I had 5. Some of them were really weird. But when I was growing up, my favourite player was Mark Bentley, who I don't know why he just was. And I think that was my first few seasons because he obviously just joined from Southend when I started. He was one of my favourites. He was like a proper old-fashioned midfielder. My dad used to tell me, like,
played pretty much everywhere as well, didn't he? He played right back, centre back, go up front if you need him. Played right wing, centre mid. I think he must have played pretty much everywhere apart from in goal.
Yeah, versatile player. He nearly played in goal once.
He did.
Nearly did.
Yeah, nearly.
Kelvin Jack got injured away at Bristol City, and he was going to go goal, but thankfully
there's a name. Right, who's your second cult hero?
I'm going to get the weird ones out of the way first.
Okay, and then we'll do the proper one at the end.
Effie Sodji.
The bloke used to wear the bandana.
Yeah. again, I don't know why. I just quite liked him.
Probably because he wore that, it looked a bit different, I suppose.
Yeah, there was an interview with someone. I don't know. I think James done it with someone. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but someone said that he was a really big influence in their career when they joined us.
I'm trying to think when you. So that would have been when you first started going. Still, again, wouldn't it? That's 2007. So I'm trying to think who'd have said Coxey would have still been there then, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know who else.
Then they both played in the World Cup 2006, I think, or one of them did.
Sancho was the other one, wasn't it? Yeah. But then King arrived in 2007, but it wouldn't have. Don't know. Because there are about 6 brothers that played professionally at their Sodgies. There's loads of them.
Yeah. I can't remember the player, but he said to him that you've come here from a different club, and if you think you're going to go be straight in the team and you're not going to have to train as hard or do as much as everyone else does, and you're mistaken. He said apparently that conversation with Sodgy sort of like no outlook on his career. But when it's a quote like that, I should really remember who it is, but I'll let you know.
Just let us know later on Twitter.
Yeah. The other one is Brent Sancho, actually. I really liked him. He was one of my favourites.
Not many times you can say that you've got a fully fledged international player in your team when you're a fan of Gillingham, is it?
Yeah, I really liked him. I don't know what it was. Popped out of a goal now, and he was solid defensively. He was like one of them who fitted the time, I suppose. And
he's always remembered having his airport by Peter Crouch.
There's always something about him that I really enjoy for some reason. I don't know. Some players I'm a big fans of, not specifically for their technical ability, just because of the way they were, play the way they handled themselves. Last couple are more mainstream, I suppose.
Yeah.
Michael Flynn.
Yeah, Flinny was really good.
Michael Flynn. I remember when I was going up watching the midfield with Andy Crofts. I thought that was a great partnership. I always had a lot of time for Michael Flynn. I've always said that I'm hoping at some point he takes his managerial career with us. At some point, once we're in the Premier League with Steve and he moves on and can pick us up from there. He's someone that I know people like. I think when Lovell left, everyone wanted to get him in from Newport, but I think he's doing well there at the minute. He's obviously had the FA Cup passes over the years. But yeah, he's someone I really like. Had an eye for goal, had a great tackle.
Take a penalty as well, couldn't he?
Yeah. I remember a game specifically where he was actually playing again. I think he played for Bradford against us. And I used to sit in the Medway stand. You always teams go up and down, like their warm up or whatever.
Yeah.
And he comes spoke to me for like 5 minutes when I was quite young, and I was like, my favourite player. And I think he just said to me, he's like, I'll try and forget that when you're watching me out there.
Yeah, when I scored a winner invariably, probably.
I think we beat him actually that day. But
fair enough. And who's your last one then?
There's someone above this person, but I've saved him for the next bit. But Kogi McDonald will be my last one for this. Natural goal scorer. I still have his boots from his first season on loan.
Back in 2010-11 when he scored 25 in League Two. 26,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he gave them to me after I think just before we played Macclesfield, and we lost that game 4-2. But that was another season we should have made the playoffs.
Oh yeah, we was basically in the playoffs, weren't we? And then lost at home to them and lost at home to Barnet as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we needed a point over to Macclesfield, and then we got done 4-2. I think the same season we went there and beat them 4-0 as well. So
yeah,
funny old game. But yeah, he was someone I loved. He seemed to once he got the first goal against Burton. Ever since then, is like everything he touched winning a natural goal scorer. And I think he's one. I don't like to throw the legend around at the club because I think he's a bit overused in some aspects. But I think he's definitely one you can make a case for given his career and his time here. I think it's a bit sad how his career is sort of not ended, but he's had that massive injury at Ebbsfleet. Let go from there now, so I don't know where he goes next. I wouldn't mind actually seeing him go back to Dartford, to be fair. I think
it'd be interesting what his next move is because you can imagine it's going to be a few months before anyone can really play again anyway, which is annoying for him because he's going to be 34, 35 then as well, and coming back from a massive knee problem as well. Like you say, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But
given he was at Ebbsfleet, I think maybe a natural step is just to sort of, as you start to get older, you start to wind down your career and you sort of know in your head that you can't do everything that you used to be able to do. That's just natural. So maybe him going back to Dartford would be a nice little
because he was playing well in the National League before he picked up that injury. When he'd started all right there, and because it was him and Kedwell, wasn't it, again back together? But
yeah, got another injury.
See what happens.
Yeah, great goal scorer. Great. Yeah, one of my favourites.
Yeah, I think he's probably in the top 5 of a lot of fat, especially sort of your age demographic as well, that have sort of started going in the last 14, 15 years. Move on from cult hero then to, greatest ever player. So, for technical ability or just sheer willingness to play for the shirt or whatever. And you're only allowed one for this one.
It's got to be Barry Fuller, isn't it? Surely.
Up to you.
Yeah.
I only asked the questions.
Got to be Barry for me. He's been at the club throughout all my generations, obviously. I remember being a fan, obviously, when he come from Stevenage with Stimo in January, I think, with Stuart Lewis. And obviously, I was there to watch him lift the playoff trophy back in 2009. And obviously, you take a little break where you had to spell at Wimbledon, and obviously, he come back again after that. And I think
went to Barnet first, didn't he, for a little while?
Yeah, he got released just the season before Martin come in. I remember.
Yeah, which was weird because he could have ended up winning the league with us again. But
yeah, and he was at Barnet then, and then obviously at Wimbledon since won promotion with them at Wembley. And I think he's just you sort of look at him sometimes and how good he's playing. You don't really understand how he does it. He's been around for so long, but he seems to be getting better. He doesn't seem to be deteriorating with age.
Because what was your opinion, if I can ask, on him when he arrived back in the summer of 2018? Because for me, I thought he was coming in as backup to Luke O'Neill, and I think that was generally a consensus amongst most of the fan base. What was your opinion on it when he arrived?
I was happy about it because he was one of my favourite
players. Oh yeah, I was definitely happy about it in terms of, again, like you said about Dion Burton, like changing room, training ground, that type of experience and leadership's invaluable. But did you think he was going to come in and firstly play 40 games in the end, and secondly absolutely run away with Player of the Year?
Well, I think I probably took his who he is for granted, I think, in a way, because I think maybe because I played for a little while, I think maybe I took his age into account over his ability, because he's this age now. I'd rather be having Luke play regularly because he's younger when he stops.
Of course.
But he's a quality player. He gets better with age, which is quite rarity these days. And I think he's a natural leader. I'll still have him as captain now. That's no disrespect to Max, but it'd be my personal choice. But I think when he come in, I was expecting him to be a sub.
I think that was just generally what I thought as well. And people tend to forget that he played half of them games that season when he won Player of the Year at left back as well, didn't he, on the wrong side? Yeah.
And he's a top professional. He'll do whatever it takes to get a victory, and he knows how good we can be. I think he's one of them that sees the potential this team has. I think he's one that wants to be a part of it. He don't want to be on the sidelines watching all. He wants to be right in there, making sure everything happens well. And it says a lot about him that even that, what is he, 35, 36 now? Mate, I might be doing this today. He might be like 34. But we obviously bring in Lee Hodson, and then people start to think again, maybe this is the season Barry sort of takes a side step, if you like. And eventually says that someone, Lee Hodson, who's played for Rangers, played in the SPL, and he can't even get the team rid of Barry because Barry's that impressive.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Hodson in a Gills shirt again, to be honest. That's plenty to do with Barry, so.
Yeah, and I think some of my biggest memories of Gills, like 2009 season, us at Wembley, brilliant. And, this season, what could have been, maybe, who knows. But
it still might be.
Yeah, I think it'd be my all-time, I think.
No, it's good. It's a good one because it's slightly different, because a lot of people tend to, like with newspapers and Twitter and stuff like that, it tends to be like attacking players and forwards that get all the glory, doesn't it? Like with the playoff final, like you've mentioned, 2009, it's Simeon Jackson because he scored, but people forget how good like Simon King was that day, and Gary Richards and Simon Royce. It's always the attack players that sort of get all the glory. But so that's a good pick, that one. I enjoyed that one.
Whereas people you've done this with before are older than me, like the Ashbys and the Pennocks, maybe.
They are. You are the youngest one at the moment of the four. I've got one more lined up shortly who'd be younger than you still, so.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
But
maybe if I was a bit older at the time, I might have a bit more kind feelings towards Peter Taylor than I have, but there you go.
Well, that's the thing, unfortunately, because when all you remember him for is that 14-15 season and 13-14 when it was turgid, let's be honest. But yeah, if you go back to obviously when I was a kid and we got promoted, the football he was playing then was unbelievable. And he was England under-21 manager before then. That's the thing that people tend to forget. We got the ex-England under-21 manager. It was a huge coup for us at the time.
I've always, in interviews I've done, players who played under him. I've always said before that as like my memories are this season of him. I said I obviously appreciate what he did back then, but that's before my time, so I'm not going to comment on it because I can't.
That's it. Yeah, you can't. It's more difficult, like you say, when you weren't there for it.
Obviously, you go and watch YouTube videos and whatnot, but it's not the same as what actually.
No, of course not. No, you can't beat being there live and living through it, so to speak. Right. Final question, the big one. 6-a-side team, and you do have to have a goalie because you messaged me on Twitter. He just Barry Fuller patrolling. Right, yeah. I'm assuming he's in it, but come on in, hit me with it. Your 6-a-side team.
That's got to be Nelson goal. Generation. One of my favourite players as well. Did have a mistake in him, but the amount of saves.
I think that was only towards the end, really, wasn't it? That last season.
Some of the saves he made, I think a couple was that one against Rotherham season. Michael O'Connor's hit one going straight to the top corner. Nelson's put it round for a corner. That's potentially a championship winning save.
Yeah, it's a real difference maker, isn't it? Yeah.
I think he probably kept us up in a sense in that Northampton game because I know we get a clean sheet and obviously I don't think he had too much to do, but maybe.
I think it was just massive the fact that Pennock went back to him that day, wasn't it? And so that said everything you needed to know about Nels.
Yeah, the sort of thing that annoyed me about that actually. Cause I thought if you think he's good enough to play a game in this high calibre, well, I can't use playing before that, but
that's exactly what he said when I spoke to him. He felt like he'd been sort of stitched up a little bit because why have you suddenly now decided I'm good enough after sitting me on the bench for 6 weeks and now you want to rely on me for the biggest game of the season and invariably the biggest game in 10 years.
Yeah, but he also had one that was important to a fan. He has that relationship with fans and manager. One of them who just had that outright passion. Something that it gives you a reason to be optimistic, if that makes sense. Like when we score a goal when he's in the goal in front of us and he turns around and gives it all the fist pumps and that gives you even more reason to celebrate. And it's one of those connections that you don't get much in football these days, especially in the Irish leagues where everything's all media.
Yeah, it's all a bit robotic and distant up there, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
If you like. I've got one defender, Barry.
It had to be Barry. We've spoken all about him then. So Nelson goal, Barry just in front, just basically kicking everyone up in the air. Who've we got in front of him? Well, we got 2 midfielders and 2 attackers then. Yeah,
I start Michael Flynn back in for reasons already mentioned. And this one's a bit of a surprise one. I haven't actually mentioned it in my answers yet, but just for the sheer quality of that 2012-13 season, I thought how impressive he was, and he was one of my players this season. I've actually gone with Chris Whelpdale.
Okay.
One of them players I really liked. His technical ability was fantastic for the league we were in. He could get past the player easily. He always had a one goal. He could always pick one out of nothing. I think I look back to one specifically, two specifically. I think Torquay we beat 5-2 or 1.
Yeah.
It's gone in. I think in terms of technical ability and just the power of the strike, we title winning season, Bristol Rovers 2-0 away. I think he's cut inside just outside the box and straight into the top corner. And it's always nice to have someone in your team who's not only got technical ability, but in the back of your head, if we hit one from distance and it goes in, it's probably going to be him who's hit it because he's got that about him.
Yeah.
You're just one of them that I think made us tick a lot of important goals that title winning season as well. He's always one of them you can rely on to win you a game and be a big part of that season. Not that he was, and he was one of my favourite players that season, so I stuck him in there. I think the two strong, probably guess.
Cody.
Simeon, yeah.
Simeon and Cody, fair enough, yeah.
I haven't actually mentioned Simeon until now, actually, but...
that's a lot of pressure on Barry Fuller in that team, I'm not going to lie.
Right, he's got the legs of a 21-year-old.
He's going to have to,
Yeah. I think it's Simeon I haven't actually mentioned so far. I think I've done him a bit of a disservice, but I think you can't leave him out after giving us that euphoric moment at Wembley. Being there.
Yeah, it was a magical moment, even though it was a goal kick, but never mind.
Longest player on the pitch, getting and leaping over Grant Holt, I think it was, ironically, given it was like the whole build-up was like Grant Holt and Simeon comes up on top, literally, heads the ball into the back of the net. I think that game was sort of set up for that stage. I think it was all set up for him to score the winner because I remember first half specifically we absolutely battered in that game. And it was beyond me how we weren't. I thought at half time the game really should have been done. To be honest, I think we created more than enough chances
I don't remember loads of it. I was talking to Kingy the other day. I don't remember the specifics, to be honest. Generally, my memories of it, I didn't think there was loads of clear-cut chance. I know we had loads of the ball and loads of territory and got into good areas, but in terms of goalkeepers making saves, I can't really recall too much of it. But then that's because I'm old and I might have just forgot.
I remember a couple of big ones. I think we had a corner coming towards the edge of the box and someone's dummied it. It's a training ground routine and Nutters hit it sweet as you like on his left foot. Sweet as a nut, if you like. And it's going into the top corner. I think Luke Daniels, who's now at Brentford, goal for Shrewsbury that day, and
he was
got across to the top corner, sort of palmed it away, and it was destined to go in. I think first minute of injury time in the first half, Josh Wright has a road-driven shot to the bottom left-hand corner. Someone gets down to it again, and I think he was just informed that day, but thankfully for us, he couldn't do enough when it mattered. And Simeon obviously came up and got the goal, and it was sort of, for me anyway, from my memory, after being, I think, the dominant team that game, was set up for a moment like that. Although your mind sort of goes to think, like, is it going to be one of them days where we've had the majority of the game, are we going to get a sucker punch at the end? But thankfully it wasn't to be. And Simeon obviously comes up, trumps that goal, and I think he had a decent-ish return the season after, even though we were relegated. He scored some important goals that year.
He got actually the opening day of the season after, didn't we? Beat Swindon. We were top for about 2 hours that season, I think, weren't we? Which was good.
Yeah, Swindon
peaked really, really early.
Scored the equaliser at home to Charlton off the top of my head. Also important goals here and there, but yeah, obviously he deserved his move to the Premier League. I know he's obviously sort of his career sort of, with age getting to where he is now, and he's back in League Two. I think maybe even a National League. What happened to Steven Itch, we don't know, but I think he's one of them. He's had a great career with us, and obviously Cody, who spoke about him, natural goal scorer. I think Cody was a better player than Jackson personally, and I've experienced both of them through the whole time. And
you have, yeah. So.
Cody was here for a bit longer, maybe that's why. But I always something about Cody I always sort of preferred. I've no disrespect to Simeon. I just think for me Cody was just a little bit better than him, which is.
Well, they took similar career paths because they both ended up at Norwich, didn't they, in the Premier League?
Yeah.
So he went. So that was Nelson goal. Barry Fuller as a lone defender, midfield pairing of Michael Flynn and Chris Whelpdale, and a strike pairing of Simeon Jackson and Cody McDonald. That'd be entertaining watch, I think, to be fair. I don't think we'd be short on chances. We might concede a few, but I think Nelson and Baz would have to be on top of their game all the time. Right.
Steve Barry,
Sorry?
That's Steve.
So I lost you there for a sec. Sorry, mate. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's all good. We're fine.
There you go. We're back. So, yeah. That's the final question. I really enjoyed that. It's been good looking back over the, especially the championship winning season and the playoff final. They're always nice memories to dredge up from the darkest depths of the memory. And Gills fans, you know where Owen is. He's on Twitter at OrthodoxStan, but with a 0, not a normal O. Otherwise, you won't find him. Maybe that's why he's done it. He don't want you to find him. I'm not sure. So be sure to check him out, give him a follow, check him out on the Gills Fancast as well, and all their good content that they've been putting out. You know where we are: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Keep safe, keep staying indoors unless you really have to go outside. And until next time, up the Gills.